Hi, hello, welcome back, Alexandrian Codex. Hoi 4. TNO. USA. 1970. Let's keep this train rolling. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Not so beautiful, but we're working on it. We are working on it. Oh yeah, Saudis were defeated by the Arabian Republic. Well, I'm genuinely surprised by that. You are being... The Reich is sending you volunteers. That's concerning. Tokyo standoff. The Great Conspiracy, as it's known in Japan, has escalated into even more bloodshed and violence as rogue Imperial Japanese Army units seize positions in the outskirts of Tokyo. Claiming to be guardians of the Kokutai and protectors of the Tenno, they virtually laid siege to Tokyo. Of note, the imperial family has temporarily been evacuated to Kyoto for fears of their safety. It's been said that Tokyo standoff has been induced by the paranoia gripping Japanese society as a result of the Great Conspiracy. Brother would suspect brother, insubordinate would suspect superior. The imperial Japanese military hierarchy has exploded into anarchy. Only time can tell if Tokyo is capable of handling the situation. Wow. Alright. Not looking so hot, huh? Yeah, let's hammer down healthcare first, then we'll do education, then we'll do systemic inequalities, and then we'll pivot over to this tree. Handling conservative opposition. Some voices within the conservative wing of government are criticizing Harrington's healthcare policies. Democrat, right NPP, and a few Republican senators calling out our handling of the issue unnecessarily interventionist and a waste of government resources. This presents a problem for our administration and brings into question our ability to push through further reform. The President and his party intend to counter the opposition through a mixture of meaningful dialogue, sharp critique, and minor concessions. We can appease more moderate opposition by agreeing to help some of our pet causes forward through the Senate, and perhaps diluting a few of our more radical proposals slightly. As for our more staunch critics, we'll need to come out swinging on the Senate floor to dismiss their arguments. Is that bourgeois influence? Not great. 70. We're only reducing it by 5 every time. But I gotta keep poking away at it. I think I can do that 2 more times this year. Hopefully a 3rd if I'm lucky. Alright. Senate elections time. Let's take a look. East Coast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So East Coast has 6 up for grabs, and I like focusing on that anyway, so you know what? Central East Coast, go ahead and push on you. Still have insufficient resources. I know it, buddy. I know it. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Serving up Southern pork. Mr. President, you have to understand the position this vote puts us in. Congressmen and senators stand around the Oval Office. Each one represents a small business, chambers of commerce, and a style bigwigs of the South. President Harrington can barely contain his contempt. He may have founded this party, but he feels no obligation to do anything but tolerate them. Nonetheless, they took a hard vote on the FHRA. They've received plenty of less than kind feedback from their constituents. Now they've come to push the administration to make penance. This contract for Nucor would create 200 new jobs in Birmingham. Spartanburg, sir, is in desperate need of improvements for hospitals. Fact is, more than a third of Florida's fruit producers need this subsidy to continue operations profitably. On and on they go. Not all of the proposed budget items are strictly necessary, but that's the point. A bit of extra funding sent the South way might help mollify the MPP's base, but also suck up political capital that the administration could use elsewhere. How we doing in the South? MPP has a lead in the South. Strong lead in the Deep South. You know what? I'm not giving out bribes. Fuck you. There's an unfortunate perception in America, the belief that healthcare is not a necessary utility like food or water, but a luxury to be afforded only to those who have earned it. This attitude has hindered significant healthcare reform in the past, and many feeling that the poorest do not deserve any help in this regard. Harrington intends to challenge this perception both within the halls of power and across America at large. We must press the issue that healthcare afforded to all is not just a moral course of action, but the most efficient one. Giving aid to those at their lowest point is the most surefire way of getting them out of the hole and returning them to a dignified position in society. Advanced artillery is delightful. Absolutely delightful. Alright, let's start researching. Yeah, hold up. Interceptor. Fighters. Fighters are what I'm primarily using. Okie dokie, buddy. Time for you to pivot to advanced artillery. Can I do anything with it? Nope. Alright. Stellar MPP campaign. Love to see it. Republican Democrat crashes and burns. Love to see that. Now the Republicans, I wouldn't mind winning. They're mostly malleable and they tend to vote our way anyway. Where do we push now? New England has 5 up for grabs. And the MPP has a small lead, strong lead everywhere. The Great Plains is the only place, well, and Utah. I guess I'll push in the Great Plains to make sure the Republican Democrats lose that lead in North Dakota. Or to try to make sure that they lose that lead anyway. The president has plans to neatly tie up reform of medical insurance agency, though it'll require significant funding to carry out. We face stiff resistance from fiscal conservatives in the Senate, so the onus is on us to check our pockets and figure out how we're going to pay for all of this. Harrington intends to create a committee to assess our current financial commitments to the healthcare industry and decide whether we can reconfigure our funds. We could potentially secure additional funding and a few extra taxes to provide it, with some convincing in the Senate, but for now we just need to figure out how much money we can reasonably put forward. Where are they campaigning? New England. Okay, unsurprising. That's where most of the seats are, so we'll pivot back to New England to counter whatever they're accomplishing here. Hopefully they'll have another terrible failure, but you know, can't guarantee that. Hey, 200 PP. Know what that means? Time to strip away the influence of the bourgeois. Yeah, they're down to 70. What if less than 70? What if 65? Polls have been updated. Delightful. Well, we'll take a look at that after these results are called. I want to reassure the upper class. No, I don't. I want to rip them down from their ill-gotten heights. Stellar MPP campaign. That's great. Establishing Medicare. Medicare is Harrington's ultimate answer to the health insurance issue. A national insurance program funded by a small payroll tax on high-end earning salaries, Medicare will create an additional safety net for the elderly, the young, the disabled, and those stricken by illness, among other cases. Most of the cost of the hospital care and professional support will be enrolled. Citizens will be covered by the program, the remainder being covered by the now regulated private companies. Though the program would provide much-needed financial security to those who need it, it must naturally face opposition in the Senate. We must make them see this program will be invaluable to every American, be they sick or in good health, so that we can give the people the safety net that they deserve. Yeah, they ran a respectable campaign. Well, we'll go fuck around there, I suppose. Once this is available, streamline techniques. Hello. CAS? Sure. Let's get all of these fancy new planes. Bum, 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 ba-da-bum. Alrighty, where do we have Democrats leading? North Dakota, but that was prior to the... we got a toss-up in Texas. I'd kind of like to push that. Yep, we are pushing for Southwest. Let's try to lock down Texas. We're almost done with rubber. New APCs. Listen, let's just switch them out. Have to be making new ones and old ones. Even as exhausting as it's going to be to slowly replace them. Do I want new interceptors? Am I even making interceptors? CES, fighter. CES, tac bomber, fighter. No, I'm making tactical bomber, CES, and strategic bomber. I'm not even making interceptors. Huh. Alright, well. Sounds good to me. Tac bombers it is. How much influence am I gonna need here? I want you to have scout helicopters, transport helicopters. I want you to have support artillery, engineers, and probably signal companies. We're looking at 50. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're a fifth of the way there. Republic of Sudan. Where do I even deploy this? Yeah, what? Yep, there you go. Who do we assign to you? Buddy. I have no idea. Dwight Beach. Yep. Good old Dwight. So let's put him in charge. I can make more airborne. I can make more airborne. Alright, awesome. You are gonna deploy into Maryland. Go straight into that. You'll love to see it. Voting on Medicare. Most radical policy yet put forth by the Harrington administration, as the New York Times puts it. Love it or hate it, that seems to be the consensus around Medicare. Poor and working class have rallied around the bill, seeing it as a massive improvement for millions. Unions in particular have been flexing political muscles, pressuring the MPP and Republican Democrat legislators alike through letter-writing campaigns and fundraisers. On the other hand, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has taken the lead in opposing the bill. They have their own letter-writing campaigns and much more imposing fundraisers. Chamber has been calling Medicare the first step on the road to tyranny, a waste of money, a handout, and plenty of other things besides. Sizable tax burden that's been plastered across the editorial pages of half the country's newspapers haven't helped the campaign's administration's case much. With both sides jockeying for Congress to vote their way, it's anyone's game. An American healthcare system depends on how the vote goes. Replace a ray of hope with daring to dream. National Progressive Party looks better in the north, but worse in the south. Significantly increase public fatigue. Well, we can play with that. Replace universal healthcare with free universal healthcare. Replace tax havens with low income weighted. Love to see it. All right, from a young age, let's do this side of the tree. The American mind has been conditioned to think about the poor as unequal, twisted and deformed in spirit, and this process begins in the schoolyard. The invisible inequality of education must be tackled if we're to change the larger inequities and inequalities of American society. The president has determined no expense shall be spared. After all, poverty is an economic condition, not an original sin. If fathers are innocent, what are the sons? For reform to take place, we must look at the situation with a clear eye. Schools will be assessed with a clear picture, will be drawn of the state of the American education system. Then we'll begin comprehensive reform of the system, starting with primary and secondary education. And the future of America will hopefully look to a brighter future. I can read. Me read word good. Yes, do this. Start that. Thank you. Now it's worth. We did get some. Exhaustion is notable. Fatigue will decrease by 5. Reassure the upper class, but it will increase their... Hate that. Favor the middle class. Fatigue will decrease. Middle class will be happy. Promote restrained legislation. Will reduce support for a noob. Help the bourgeois out. Influence of the rich will be increased. Why the hell would I ever click that? No. Hear out the other America. Tone down the rhetoric. Nope. Reassure them. Nope. Favor the middle class. I can do this, and it would decrease fatigue. So let's go ahead and do that. I know I'd rather save up for the 200, but if we can buy down fatigue, that seems nice. Cool. There's resources. Let's get improved rubber processing so I don't ever have to deal with this rubber shortage horseshit ever again. And that'll free up more factories, which is always nice. Polls have been updated. Well, we'll take a look at those once the decision becomes available to reallocate. Oh shit, an uninspired MPP campaign. Alright, we might lose Texas. But they ran a middling campaign in probably New England, so par for the course. Alright, decisions available. What do we got? So, we have a toss-up in California. Got 2 toss-ups in the Deep South, toss-up in Upper South, toss-up in the Southwest. Strong leads in the East Coast. Small leads in New England. Right, well, 2 toss-ups in the Deep South. They can have the Deep South. We're gonna get California. I'm gonna try to get California, and then hopefully we can move on to somewhere else. All right. Let's not do this yet. Assessing school resources. It's a sad truism that American school system will give you the best education money can buy. Your money, that is. Huge inequities in the public school system, particularly in the South, have contributed to existing divides in the American household, robbing underprivileged children of education and attention that they deserve. If we're to make the American education system equal, we must chart the width of these divides and quantify them, no matter how disturbing that task might be. A nationwide survey of schools will be conducted, using random surveys of teachers and students to gauge confidence in the schooling system and its ability to distribute equal attention across states and districts. A concurrent audit of state education boards will ensure that results are kept as close to reality as possible. Once we're sure of the results, the real work can begin. Oh, man. It's nice. Just a few months going by without a constant event spam. It seems that once you get a president, you tend to, oh, calamitous campaign, fuck, we're probably going to lose California. And it's not worth the 1 seat to just keep hammering there. They ran a masterful campaign. Yep, okay, I'm gonna have to bounce that. J. Quinn Brisbane is one of the countless idealists, activists, and radical policy wonks who found a political home in the Harrington administration. Head of a minor department within the head of education, Office of Education, has come a long way from his days of organizing in the Jim Crow South, but he hasn't abandoned his radical instincts. As a policy brief submitted today reveals, in a series of amendments to the Elementary and Secondary Elementary Act, boosting overall funding by nearly 20%, adding a long list of funded activities, arts electives, Black and Hispanic history courses, more funding for faculty improvements, and more are all on the list. It raised the already substantial price of the ESEA, but it would certainly please numerous teachers, students, and activists across the country. He's right. We need it. Spotlight the issues. As the investigation into the education landscape of America takes shapes, we're uncovering practices and abuses that render the Bureau sleepless at night. There are stories of corruption and rampant child abuse taking place right under our noses, in D.C., as well as in the western states. Disconcertingly, it appears that some schools in the Civil Rights Act have carried out de facto segregation in their classrooms, rendering the efforts of our lawmakers obsolete. No matter how much it pains us, we must stare unflinchingly into the face of these abuses and catalog them. The president has promised that when he's done, he'll sweep this system up in reforms, and our children will be avenged for the wrongs committed to them. How we doing? Still notable, huh? The middle class out? Nope. Help the bourgeois out? Nope. Convincing the middle class? That won't do anything. Reduce the influence of the middle class? Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever do that? Would never do that. Intensify persuasion efforts? That would reduce fatigue, and honestly, that's probably what I need to be doing. Polls have been updated. Alright, well, we'll look at that when the time comes. Yeah, the middle class is now more influential than the bourgeois. It's very good. What has become available? Okay, the campaign. Alright, so New England, we still got on lockdown. East Coast, still on lockdown. Deep South, toss-up. Upper South, toss-up. Southwest is doing okay. Great Lakes, doing okay. Great Plains, got one toss-up. I want California. God, I can't push for California again. I really want it, though. You can push the Rockies to snap Nevada. Let's push the Deep South. Fuck it. There are 2 seats up for grabs. They're probably going to go to the far right side of our party, but I don't know that. And if I don't know that, then I shouldn't preempt them. Jet strategic bomber. Improved jet fighter can be replaced with the advanced jet fighter. Just gonna make this even more reliable. Advanced jet fighter 1. A1. Yep, there we go. It's the opposition campaigning this time. East Coast. Yeah, they're really hammering on that. Alright, next time we're probably going to have to reinforce the East Coast. Iraq collapses into civil war. Jesus Christ, do they ever. That's a lot of factions. In yet another example of the startling rise of instability across the Middle East, it appears that the Republic of Iraq, a longtime Italian ally in the region, has fallen into civil war. The nation's government has been steadily eroding ever since the assassination of its president, Abd al-Karim Qasim. Curiously, while the Iraqi wing of the Pan-Arab Ba'ath Party leads the insurrection against the Italian-led emergency government, the position of the rest of Iraq's parties is unclear. Some, particularly those oppressed by Qasim's administration, have taken up arms in a bid for an Iraq of their own. Others have remained officially neutral for the moment, even as quiet negotiations are reported to have taken place with Italian representatives. Whoever the winner of the new conflict, it seems likely that it will not be the Iraqi people. Already heavy casualties are reported as all parties rapidly mobilize. A Syrian Republic is independent. Oil crisis erupts. Following the breakout of several conflicts in the Middle East and the death of the chairman Enrico Mattei, stocks of the Eni, Italy's most prominent oil company, have fallen immensely. Due to Italy's role as a major player in the world trade, panics have spread in waves across global markets. The price of oil has shot up. Oil plays a crucial part in the global conflict between Germany, America, and Japan, being the most valuable resource in transportation and warfare. With the outbreak of the conflict and the need for oil becoming immense, powers of the world are once more the eye of the region of festering conflict with a great interest, looking to support whichever factions, nations, or other leaders that will allow for economic footholds. Seems a new battleground will be placed upon the world stage, one which will forever change the face of the Middle East. For good. Okay, well. A lack of civilian factories. What? Why do I lack civilian factories? I don't. Do I? What the fuck? Why did all of that just pivot? Ah, the oil crisis. Wow, that's bad. Political power, stability, construction speed, factory output, yep, this is just the only way for economic survival is to ride out the storm and pray for a miracle. Alright, well, fair enough. The machine falters. Like any engine worth its name, the American economy functions on a continuous flow of oil. Its bitumen paves the country, many thousands of miles of highway. Its petrols, kerosenes, and diesels fueled trucks, planes, airplanes, ships, and cars, transferring money and goods from city to city. Its naphtha and gas compose many chemicals and heat many homes. From our rigs off the Louisiana coast, the bountiful wells in the Arabian Peninsula, cheap oil is a linchpin, keeping the world's strongest economy strong from the bottom up. Then one sunny day in the turn of a decade, oil prices quadrupled to $12 a barrel, and like an engine with neither lubricant nor fuel, the world's strongest economy sputters to a sudden stop. Pandemonium strikes Wall Street's floors as indexes dovetail past their troughs with no sign of slowing down, let alone stopping. Main Street fares a little better. Look only at the miles along lines of cars outside of gas stations across the country, both awaiting shipments of fuel that will never come. As conflagrations spark abroad, crisis they brought to America's shores have skyrocketed the prices of goods while simultaneously keeping people from earning money for them. In other words, a cataclysm poised to stunt, even reverse, a decade of growth. America turns desperately to Capitol Hill for an answer to the world's first ever oil shock. Congress turns desperately to the White House for solutions to a quandary that evades modern economic thought. The buck has now landed on the Resolute desk. When and how shall its occupant respond? Again, you motherfuckers have denied me this. So I'm just gonna cheat the first option in, since you keep fucking doing this. Alright, running on fumes. There's no text. Okay. Get that for free, and then we'll set in this. Controlled markets, trade deal opinion, no. National spirit, stability, no. Everything's bigger in Texas. Let's start out with that. Everything's bigger in Texas. There's no descriptive text. The earth bleeds. Horrible fighting has begun again. Beneath the shifting sands of the Middle East, oil pumps like blood through the veins of slumbering primordial deity. Proboscoid derricks pierce the sediment in their hundreds, gluttonously sucking up the earth's bounty to feed the world's limitless thirst for petroleum. Strange, absurd even, to think the most valuable commodity in the world, and indeed the grease that spins society's cogs, is little more than corpses of prehistoric flora. Yet every day America burns through uncountable tons of this ancient biomass, without which our nation would grind to a screeching halt. Perhaps the only thing in the Middle East older than the land itself is the people. They wandered the sands for thousands of generations before the first city, and will surely do so again after the fall of the last. Entrenched in their ancient ways, they fought and married each other for millennia in a never-ending dance of civilization. Every so often, these years ground by, the cradle of humanity exploded into sudden and ferocious violence. Once more, blood is spilled upon the sand. Under the Italian boot, for decades, the Arabs have risen up to form the nascent United Arab Republic, intent on expelling foreigners from their homeland and taking claim of their own destiny. As the Italians desperately try to stop the spread of rebellion, the Saudi king watches from Riyadh, perhaps seeing his first, no, the Saudis are gone. I promise you, the Saudis are gone. Our diplomatic staff, terrified of the distant explosions and gunfire they can hear from their offices, have been sending in frantic reports on the escalating crisis. Reading between the lines, a central message is clear. Our oil supply is threatened. The situation appears bleak. America may soon find itself deprived of oil unless we act, soon and decisively. As the Middle East embroils itself in bloodshed, the policymakers in Washington debate about what action to take. And what our men in the Middle East are airlifted to safety. One thing is for certain. It's happening again. Sure would like to build something, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't need to build anything. The funny thing is, I'm doing fine on petroleum. I'm doing fucking beautifully on oil. Alright, we've had a solid MPP campaign. That's nice. They ran a respectable campaign. Down to the Kurds in Baathist, Iraq. Let's set the prices. Ooh, hello. Yes. So, what do we got? Toss-up in Nevada, toss-up in the Great Plains, toss-up in the West Coast. Still California, it's a toss-up. I hate that. 2 toss-ups in the Deep South. They pushed the East Coast. We still have a small lead everywhere, but I want to make damn sure that's up to date. So, we're campaigning in the East Coast. I'm not losing that. I'd rather lose California than lose the East Coast, if I'm being honest. Polls have been updated? Yep. How they looking? No, we still have the East Coast. Fair enough. Well, I'm just reinforcing it. California's still a toss-up. Deep South, we've at least snapped Mississippi. Florida's still a toss-up. Alright, well, we'll play around with that next time. What are we doing? Oil, I guess? I mean, I don't need it. The game seems convinced that I do, but I'm actually good, dog. I'm good. Transport, advanced jet transport, advanced spy plane. I don't care for either of those. Strategic bombers. Being upgraded. Tactical bombers being upgraded. We can go pop into our Navy, get better battleships. I mean, I have the expertise for it. Why not? Let's get better battleships, better cruisers. Start pumping those out. Though the need for it isn't really there. Hold up, Alex. There's more relevant tech you can be researching. Even if it's just improving our small arms, I'd rather be doing that. Honestly, I'd rather be doing that. Oh, this war is just stopped in its tracks. That isn't going anywhere. Federal Energy Office. Slightly ahead of time, not that ahead of time anymore. Elite forces, this will make our elite forces have better soft attack, better organization. You'll like to see that. Capital is commodities. Wall Street is the heart of the American economy. Today it's beating harder than ever. Turmoil erupted on the trading floor after our plan to set prices on oil became public. What can only be described as mass hysteria ensued as traders followed the trail of events to the ongoing crisis in the Middle East, realizing the way the wind was blowing. Thankfully, proved to be a minor hiccup. The chaos of the trading floor quickly died down, despite the initial hullabaloo. Setting prices on oil has allowed us to maintain control of Wall Street, keep the markets relatively stable. Averting economic disaster, many of our advisors were certain is imminent. Of course, we've made a lot of people angry. Commodities traders in particular are unsurprisingly furious. But the anchor of a gang of hair-gelled, smooth-talking champagne drinkers. Small price to pay. Better tactical bomber. Advanced jet tactical bomber. Yep, this is the one. Advanced jet tactical bomber. A1. Yep, there we go. Research slots available. Now we'll get our Air Assault 4. Better recovery, better soft attack, better organization. What more could you want? Oh my god, this year might be over in like less than 45 minutes. That'd be astounding. Solid MPP campaign. Great. Lock down that. Keep it locked down. They've crashed and burned. I think I'm going to try to lock down California. We've got one more try. Maybe. It's September, so we might have all of October to run one last campaign. Or... I mean, I hate this, but enforce rationing. Synthetic oil. I don't need more oil. I have plenty of oil. I've built way more refineries than the game was expecting me to have built, which is quite funny. All right, so we have a toss-up in the Great Plains, toss-up in the Deep South and the Upper South. California is the one I want. Yep, we're going to the West Coast. Gonna try and steal California. Well, keep California, steal California, is it mine? Yeah, steal California. No, we're only short on chromium right now, actually. We're good on rubber. That's funny. I have enough rubber, I have enough oil. This crisis is a farce. It's actually quite funny. Polls have been updated. That's a little late, but... good. Good. Yep, New England and the East Coast are locked down. That's why I like to see enforced rationing. Done. Synthetic alternative. I guess, yeah, let's get a bonus to synthetics, though I'm already pumping out synthetics. Mostly for the rubber, and by that I mean entirely for the rubber. I did it all for the rubber. It's November, so we should be seeing the election results soon. Oh shit, an uninspired campaign. I think we didn't grab California. Would have loved it, but yeah, they ran a respectable campaign. Alright, well, let's see the election results. Republican Party lost Delaware, Maryland. We've lost Connecticut and Rhode Island. We've gained Delaware and Maryland. So, all told, we lost 5 seats, they gained 6. What the fuck? Man, those toss-ups did not go well. Well, at least the far right lost the seat. Democrats are easier to deal with than they are, but that is not great. Yeah, they locked down California. I should have locked down the East Coast more. Yeah, I mean, we lost... No, we gained Delaware and Maryland, at least. Lost West Virginia, but that was far right. Yeah, that was not a great season. But we had a crazy majority. Yeah, 25, 27, 21. We really need the far right to lose seats, but... yeah, I'm doing what I can. Alright, disaster averted. Do I improve this? No. Nope. Because I'm not using Marines. Don't need them. Do we do this? I think we do. I think we do, yes. Support equipment time. Yeah, 1970 is one of those years that just unlocks so much. It's good stuff. It's very good stuff. What are you lacking? APCs. Well, we're working on it. Elite forces. Delightful. Nearing the end of the year here. Let's just go back to support forces, get better scout helicopter companies. Feeling pretty good about our position right now. Pretty good. Oil prices have finally fallen past their peak. Have finally fallen from their peak after fast, painstaking action from Washington in the immediate crisis's immediate days. Once growing to exponential heights, they now begin their slow yet inexorable decline to bearable lows. It may take years before they fully return to normal, if they ever return, of course, but America sighs a breath of relief, regardless. Its people, knowing they can finally go back to work and pay reasonably pay for their essentials. Its government, knowing it can finally turn outwards to address oil's shock root cause. Many can reasonably point to Italy's crumbling empire in the Middle East as point zero for the world's market's newest growing pain. Their inability to contain, or at least moderate, the Arab people's unrest has caused wave after wave of disruptions to the world's largest supplier of cheap, sweet crude oil. Congress is near unanimous in their apathy for the ailing and aloof empire's miserable fortunes. Washington has decided that supporting the movements that break the peninsula free from Rome's talons will help most in stabilizing the region, and in turn, its oil wells. Still, even proponents of pro-Arab intervention are divided on both its extent and its recipient. Vigorous debate has sprung over whether America should lend its hand to Yasser Arafat's Baathists in the United Arab Republic, or the influential House of Saud and its patriarchal, no decision necessary. United Arab Republic are the only ones who are winning. We have picked Cairo? Do I have to do this? Can I just get back to my reforms? I can. Alright, sweet. Why would I do this? They gain political power. They like us more. They get aid from us. They get better research speed. Meh. What's this get? Nah. I mean, I guess I should do it. Given that it unlocked, I don't want to. I have no desire to do this. I have absolutely no desire to fuck around in the Middle East. We don't need the oil. We, literally don't need the oil. But the oil crisis is still going on. Do we ride it out? I mean, these conflicts are over. And it looks like the United Arab States have won, by and large, so... Okay. I guess I should play along. Yeah, I should play along. It unlocked. It seems important. Yeah, a new republic. The Middle East has found itself plunged into crisis and disorder. On one hand, Saudi Arabia is attempting to push its infinite nodism. Saudi Arabia is dead. On the other hand, Italian power seeks to hold its own power in the region for its prestige and E&I profits. At the same time, both have found themselves struggling against the nascent forces of Arab republicanism, who have won. As a victory will bring access to... Yeah, okay, you know what? We're backing the Republic here. This is very easy. They've already won. We're on our last month here, so we're not going to see much left in this hour. But soon. Soon. Outdated equipment, still in production. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to switch this out with an advanced strategic bomber, because that's all I got. Don't have any fancy schmancy improvements to make. Momentary embolism. looming disaster has been avoided, for now, and oil flows once again, freely through America's veins thanks to oil rationing and price setting, an expansion of our domestic petroleum industry. Now citizens can once again drive their dead-end jobs and heat up TV dinners without fear of impediment. Thank goodness for that, because without oil, America would come apart like a house of cards in a tropical typhoon. Nevertheless, we can't look complacent. Turmoil in the Middle East doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon, and although the brunt of the crisis has been averted for the time being, if violence escalates, we can expect a similarly chaotic impact on America's markets. Our oil supplies are already stretched pretty far. The worse it gets, the more draconian our response will have to be, just to keep the wheels spinning. Finally, reports coming in from our men in the Middle East are getting bleaker by the day. Oil distribution is far from secure, and it appears none of the players have the power to end this conflict quickly. Most worrying, we've received reports from the CIA about United Arab Republics nations joining into a single political entity, but who's to say if it's accurate? All kinds of rumors are pouring in and getting more and more difficult to separate truth from baseless gossip. Right now, there's no way to tell which way the wind is blowing, and that kind of uncertainty isn't good for anyone. We'll have to wait and see, but it seems the worst has been avoided. For now. Has it? Because I still have the oil crisis. It's a bit of a problem. Polls have been updated. Yeah. Yeah, the Republicans are now the most populist party. It's a shame. But we'll do what we can. Letter from Los Angeles, California. Dear Mr. President, on my first night working as a nurse in 1961, a man pulled a knife on me. I was working at Los Angeles County General Hospital, but they changed the name a few years back. Anyway, the man's name was John. A cab driver had found him collapsed a few blocks from the hospital. A few minutes after we brought him in and put him up in a bed, he pulled a switchblade and was holding it against my throat. Turns out he didn't have a cent to his name and couldn't pay for services. Guess he thought taking a hostage would help his situation. We let him go, and I never saw him again. Police shrugged it off, and they finally showed up. Just another homeless wino, they said. Probably turn up dead in a week. When I saw that Medicare had passed, I thought about John. Working as a nurse, you see a lot of people's worries. I saw John's that night. I hope with this new law, I'll never have to worry about that again. Sincerely, Mary Anderson. Me too, Mary. Me too. Be real nice if didn't have to worry about that at all. Oh, this has been a fast year. Do I have another one in me? I think I do. But I'm gonna take a break after this regardless. Alright, there we go. Another year in the books. This one done in less than an hour. You'll love to see it. 1971. Still reeling from the oil crisis, but we've stabilized a little bit. But now, unfortunately, we're going to have to get involved in the clusterfuck that is the Middle East in order to stabilize things. But that'll be next time. So until then, I'm going to say toodaloo. Take care. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.